What's up, guys? This is Books Nelson here, and I just wanted to get into this topic because I see a very, very dangerous discussion going on in the 2K community as a result of Mike Wang's interview with Agent, where he was basically asking about shooting, if it should be, only if you get perfect timing, should the shot go in, blah, 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 and ultimately, should it be separated into casual and competitive? So I'm not going to get into the shooting. That's another discussion for another day. But the idea of separating 2K into casual and competitive is a terrible idea, in my opinion. And here is the reason for it. I think there's a lot of reasons for it, but I titled this video the number one reason because this is really the most important thing. And if the 2K community and developers only listen to one thing, this is the thing. 2K has not yet reached a level where you know what it looks like at a competitive level. I realize you have an esport, but you have the worst esport out of all of the esports. That's like someone saying they have a lot of experience dating and they've only been turned down. All right? 2K has not reached the level of Counter-Strike or Street Fighter or Overwatch, any of the games I ever mentioned that are successful esports, Rocket League, whatever, right? Until 2K reaches that level, you don't have the information necessary to say this is what makes a great 2K competitive game and this is what makes a great 2K casual game. You do not have that information. What's happening right now is you're going through the struggles as the community starts to take the game seriously. Many competitive games have gone through this over the years. And the thing is, what they all try to do is just make the best game possible. One good game. Don't try to make two good games. I mean, you guys are already making 5 games as it is. Don't make 2 versions of every single game. Don't make 2 versions of Play Now Online, 2 versions of Park, 2 versions of Pro-Am, a game where Park is fun, but Pro-Am is quote-unquote competitive and sucks. Like, no. Make one great video game, and the people will compete at that game very hard, and then, as you improve when that game becomes great, you can tweak that game to make it more competitive. But 2K does not have the data and the experience right now. They're so great at so many things, but they're not great at making competitive games. They have not made it a successful competitive esport game. So to think that you even can say, well, this is the competitive aspect of 2K and this is the not competitive aspect of 2K, guys, in the most competitive parts of the game, people are doing the most uncompetitive things. In the most casual part of the game, people are doing the most fair things because they don't know the uncompetitive parts of the game, the non-competitive parts, as well as the good players do, right? So throw that idea completely out of the window. You do not have the data for it. It is not a situation where the very idea that only hitting shots in the green window automatically makes the game competitive, I don't think that makes the game competitive. I don't think it makes it more competitive. It's just one area of randomness that you assign as the reason the game is not competitive. But there's many areas of randomness in this game. And the most random part of this game is the 2-player animations. Number one, because those animations take whatever the speed of your player is, whatever the jumping ratings of your player is, it throws them out of the window, and they're going to move at the speed of that animation. So if you want to make the game more competitive, control that first and foremost. All right? Another thing that makes the game not competitive is the defensive movement. Players literally cannot move. In fact, we're gonna go into the Pro-Am arena so I can show you guys as I discuss these things. Right now, the players simply don't move with the response time necessary for a competitive game. Response time is one of the most important aspects of the competitive game. I already gave my first reason, so if you came for the number one reason, that is it. You cannot separate a non-competitive game into competitive and non-competitive and casual or whatever before you first make a great game. Great game first, discerning what's casual and what's competitive after. Great game first. Focus on nothing but a great game, please. In the video, Mike Wang said, Mike Wong said that their focus was fun. Great idea. I love it. I've preached about that over and over. Make a great game, make a fun game. Competitive game, throw that out the window. That's the result of information that you gather from your your community competing against each other. So I'm going to address the number one reason 2K is not a competitive game. So right now, I'm going to let you guys hear it on my stick as I click the controller to the left with the left stick. All right? And I'm going to hold back. Did you see how long it took him to start moving backwards? This game simply does not have fast enough response time to be a competitive game. It's just that simple. All right? If you'll see Sonic Fox, arguably the greatest fighting game player ever, even at a young age, definitely top 5. He recently was bragging about his reaction time, and I believe it was about 162 millisecond response time, something like that. And the average is something around 250, and like a good player is probably around 180 or something. That time frame is important in competitive games because those games move at that speed. 2K does not move at that speed. So the separation between a guy like Sonic Fox, who's in almost cracking 150, and a guy like me, who on his best day is 200 of response time, that curve is flattened between me and Sonic Fox in a game like this, where the game is much, much slower. This is why fighting games invalidate fighting games that don't have rollback netcode. I know that's a term most of you don't know, but it basically means that the games feel like you're playing underwater online because you can't react to anything. That's why fighting game people don't respect online play unless the netcode is immaculate. 2K is like a fighting game with the worst netcode. It's like playing Marvel 3 online. If you're a 2K player, you've said it all the time. I feel like I'm underwater. Why does Pro Am feel different? Oh, it feels like everything's happening kind of slow. It is happening slow. Online is slower than the regular game, and the regular game is slower than a competitive game. So all that you're talking about with taking out the randomness of the game, increase the response time so that you can increase reaction time and you can increase decision time, and that will make the game more competitive. The randomness of shooting is low on the list of why this game is not competitive. In fact, one of the more competitive aspects of shooting, and I know a lot of the community disagree with this, but all of the evidence that I've seen supports this point, is that better players shoot better in the game. Now, the problem with differentiating archetypes, the fact that a great player on a character with a 65, 70 shot could shoot as well as a very good player on a 90 shot, that's a problem in the game with archetypes. But in terms of two players on the same build, skill level determines who makes more shots more times than not in 2K. All evidence supports this. And skill level definitely determines who can make shots like, spin shots and fades and guys like Ticino. Scrubs don't make those shots at the same rate as these guys do. But you know what Scrubs do get? Bad steal animations. You know what Scrubs do get? Lucky dunk animations. You know what Scrubs do get? Lucky rebounds. You know what Scrubs do get? Lucky loose balls. Scrubs get that at an equal level to quote-unquote pro players. And what pro players do is they minimize the situations in which those animations even have a chance to occurring. All right? So that's pretty much it. That's the number one reason. That would be one of the worst expenditure of resources you guys could possibly do, is to try to split this game into casual and competitive. Put it in one category. Great. A fun, great game that people play against each other all the time to a high skill level. And then from that point, you can start to make it competitive. All right, guys? Not going to keep you here too long. I'm done. Peace out.